Paul Gascoigne at Italia, 90 is the emblematic face of English heartache. Tearful after a booking ruled him out of the World Cup final, his dream of leading Bobby Robson's England side to glory had they beaten West Germany, as it was then, was scuppered. The semi-final on July 4, 1990 was their biggest match in 24 years. Their place felt lucky, their quarter-final victory over Cameroon didn't feel fully deserved, and their best performance had come in a 0-0 draw against Holland. But the West Germans, wearing a zany green kit, were on fire, having breezed past Yugoslavia, Holland and Czechoslovakia on their merry way to the semis, their 8th time getting this far in their last 9 attempts. We all know how this one ends, but here's a recap for those of us, including 16 of Gareth Southgate's 23 in Russia, who weren't around for that fateful day. England were charming and relaxed. England 5-3-2, Peter Shilton, Paul Parker, Terry Butcher, Mark Wright, Dave Walker, Stuart Pearce, Chris Waddle, Paul Gascoigne, David Platt, Gary Lineker, Peter Beardsley. West Germany 3-5-2, Bodo Illgner, Guido Buchwald, Klaus Augenthaler, Jürgen Kohler, Thomas Berthold, Thomas Hassler, Lothar Matthäus, Olaf Thon, Andreas Brehme, Jürgen Klinsmann, Rudi Völler. Referee, Jose Roberto Wright, Brazil. A strong start had legendary BBC commentator John "Muddy" Motson say, "England are playing some tidy football, as surprised as the rest of the nation that we were actually holding our own." Between them, Gaza and Lineker were dazzling and dependable in equal measure, comfortably cocky on the world's biggest stage. But it was Waddle who drew gasps half an hour in with a thunderbolt shot from 45 yards rattling the crossbar. Waddle and Matthäus battle it out. The West Germans, dismayed by the ease with which England were controlling the game thus far, piled pressure on 5 minutes from halftime, stretching Shilton in goal but still unable to break the deadlock. Come halftime, BBC pundit Terry Venables was singing England's praises, calling them unbeatable. England manager Sir Bobby Robson was pragmatic about the result. Jimmy Hill decided it had been a pleasure to see an England team give such a display in the arts and crafts of the game. But early in the second half, it was still West Germany dominating as they had done before the whistle. England won a corner on 53 minutes, but Pearce fumbled, leaving the opposition to break. Thon sped 25 yards into the box, turning around Parker before cursing the talent of Shilton, who somehow pushed the shot away to his left. The game was very much open and markedly good-natured. A foul to Lineker saw Kohler pick him up and give him a friendly pat on the head. Old divides are forgotten on football pitches. But good sportsmanship could not beat good sportsmen, and the dreaded goal came on 59 minutes. Pearce claimed another grievous error as he fouled Hassler just over 20 yards out, just to the right of the center. A free kick was sent to Brehme, whose powerful shot deflected off Parker and looped over the hapless Shilton, who fell over himself trying to keep the ball from its destination. Yet England bounced back, with Pearce nearly making amends for his fault with a header just wide only minutes later. Gaza continued as the beating heart of the midfield, moving the West German defenders into vulnerable spaces. The first yellow card of the game went to Parker for his blatant clattering of Buchwald, and it seemed a spell had broken. Minutes later, England were denied a clear penalty when Augenthaler brought Waddle to ground, but their patience was finally rewarded 9 minutes from time. Parker sent a long cross from the halfway line on the right to Lineker, who controlled a Kohler deflection with his knee before booting a left-footed shot into the far corner. His 10th World Cup goal, and the 4th of Italia, 90, sent England into extra time for the 3rd time in a row, the first time it had ever happened at a World Cup. Lineker gives England a lifeline on 81 minutes, but with extra time came the slack discipline that comes with sheer desperation to progress. England played turbulently, giving possession away cheaply and missing their marks to force Shilton into a fine save on 95 minutes, denying Klinsmann. Lineker saves the day. Klinsmann continued to bother Shilton, but was consistently allowed the freedom to evade the English defence. 5 minutes later, the famous moment came. Gaz's good-natured but boisterous tackle on Berthold is clearly a foul, but does not warrant the West German's overwrought reaction, with the tricks Neymar would be proud of today. Bereft, Gaza, realizing the cost of his error, throws his hands up in hastened apology, but the yellow comes out, ruling him out of the final against Argentina should they get there. That they don't is bittersweet. The face reddens, tears come and Lineker tells the bench to have a word. The prospect of an English side in the final is tainted and so sad. Nothing could provoke Gaz's temper. To his credit, he doesn't give in, and when Berthold subjects him to a tackle much worse than his was, rightfully getting booked himself, the pair shake hands. The consequent free kick sets up Platt for a clever header which is painfully, but correctly, disallowed for Gaz's marginally offside position. They think Pearce has put them ahead, and the deadlock, as we know, doesn't break. Unbelievably close shots disturb the stoppers at either end, but nothing gets through. Shilton was both heroic and lucky to only concede one, a fault of a loose defense who are too often off their mark. But penalties, the cruelest thing in football, awaited. We're even until 3-3, with Lineker, Beardsley and Platt putting them away. But Pearce's miss, a poor shot down the middle that Ilgner saved with his feet, was out of character enough to demonstrate the hellish pressure of World Cup pens. Ton's success on the next one meant it all fell on Waddle. And though his shot sailed inches over the bar, it felt like miles. Waddle's despair, he sank to his knees as West Germany celebrated wildly, leaving them with just one match until they would lift the Jules Rimet trophy. Matthias lifted a destroyed Waddle to his feet, a gesture which encapsulated the respect and joy of this seminal semi-final. But for England, it wasn't enough. Will they have better fortune this time around? Tune in to TalkSport on Wednesday for the World Cup semi-final between Croatia and England, kick-off 7 p.m.